Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join me as we explore Southwest's lost historical characters, stunning desert vistas, forgotten Native American history, or tales of lost gold mines. There's always something new to discover. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Sit back and enjoy. Welcome to Southwest Desert, where we explore the mysterious tales and forgotten treasures of the American Southwest. I'm your host, and today we're diving into an extraordinary story from the rugged Baboquivari Mountains of Arizona, a tale of Spanish gold, vampire bats, and a secretive Papago Native American who held the key to one of the Southwest's most intriguing lost mine and treasure. The Baboquivari Mountains rise dramatically from the Sonoran desert floor, their jagged peaks standing like ancient sentinels against the Arizona sky. Perhaps no story from these mountains is quite as captivating as the tale of the lost vampire bat mine. Picture yourself in the small Mexican town of Arivaca, Arizona, more than 150 years ago. The dusty streets are lined with adobe buildings, their mud brick walls baking in the relentless desert sun. Local prospectors, known as gambuchinos, work the creeks daily, their practiced hands panning for gold in the glittering streams that descend from the surrounding mountains. But our story centers around a peculiar figure who regularly appeared at the local trading post, an elderly Papago Indian who would ride into town on his pinto horse. The old man's appearance was always met with curious glances, for he carried something that would catch any prospector's eye: pure gold nuggets. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another lost treasure story. If you would like to help support my channel and time, hit the super thanks heart icon on the bottom of the video and contribute. This is very helpful. Please forgive any mispronunciations. Relax and enjoy. Now, in those days, finding gold wasn't particularly unusual. The gambuchinos were regularly pulling an ounce or more of gold per day from Arivaca Creek. The sound of their sluice boxes and the sight of men bent over their gold pans was as common as the desert sunrise. But what made this old man's story fascinating was the consistency and mystery surrounding his wealth. Month after month, year after year, he would appear at the trading post, exchanging his gold nuggets for basic supplies and colorful calico fabric. The trading post itself was a hub of activity, a place where miners, ranchers, and local Native Americans would gather to trade goods and share stories. The merchant knew every regular customer by name, and the old Papago had become one of his most intriguing patrons. As time passed, the creek's gold started to run dry, as placer deposits often do. The gambuchinos' daily takes became smaller and smaller, forcing many to move on to other claims or abandon their dreams of striking it rich. Yet our mysterious Papago continued to arrive with his golden bounty, seemingly immune to the economic hardships that plagued other prospectors. This is where the intrigue began to build. The local prospectors, their own fortunes dwindling, couldn't help but notice that this Native American never seemed to work a mine. He lived a leisurely life, never missing a fiesta at the old pueblo of Tucson, always flush with money to spend. His family wanted for nothing, yet no one could figure out where his wealth came from. The mystery deepened when stories began circulating about the area's history. Luis Alvarado, an elderly Yaqui Indian who had spent his life in the Arivaca and Baboquivari region, became a valuable source of historical context. He spoke of old tales, stories passed down through generations, of a rich Spanish gold mine hidden somewhere in the Baboquivari foothills. These weren't just campfire stories. The evidence of Spanish presence was clearly visible throughout the region. The ruins of their houses still stood in the valley east of the mountains, their crumbling walls a testament to a colonial past that had once flourished here. Long rows of graves near the ancient foundation suggested a once thriving community, perhaps a mining settlement that had worked the mysterious source of gold that the old Papago now seemed to know about. The Spanish had been thorough in their search for precious metals, and they had left their mark on the landscape in more ways than one. Naturally, people began to speculate. Had the old Papago discovered a rich placer deposit somewhere in the countless arroyos that cut through the mountains? Or perhaps he'd found a Spanish cache of gold nuggets hidden away in some remote canyon near his humble brush hut. The local gambuchinos and even the trading post merchant tried everything they could to convince him to reveal his secret. Some offered partnerships, others attempted bribery, and a few even resorted to following him on his journeys home. But tracking the old man proved futile. Their efforts always led to the same place, his simple hut, with no sign of gold or mining activity. The old man seemed to live as simply as any other member of his tribe. Even when the old man moved his family to a new location on West Arivaca Creek, the gold kept coming. The trading post merchant had all but given up hope of ever learning the truth. But then came the day that would cement this story in Arizona legend, a day when the mystery would finally unravel, only to deepen again in an unexpected way. The old Papago arrived at the trading post as usual. He paid for his supplies with gold, but this time was different. There was something in his manner, a gravity that suggested more than just another trading visit. "I am an old man," he told the merchant, his voice carrying the weight of years, "and I will not be able to make use of them much longer." What followed was an extraordinary tale that began years earlier with a wounded deer and a chance discovery. The Native American described how he had been tracking the injured animal across the eastern slopes of the Baboquivari Mountains. He had stopped to rest atop a long ridge extending northeast from the peak, catching his breath in the thin mountain air. It was there that he witnessed something remarkable, a massive flight of unusually large, silver-colored vampire bats emerging from a nearby crevice. These weren't the common bats that one might see at twilight. These were spectacular creatures, their silver fur gleaming in the fading light, their size unlike anything the old man had ever encountered in all his years in the mountains. Intrigued by this unusual sight, he fashioned a torch from dry ocotillo bark and investigated the crevice. The flickering light revealed what appeared to be an old mine stope, a cavity where ore had been extracted so close to the surface that the roof had collapsed, creating a natural entrance. A draft suggested another opening, which he found several hundred feet down the mountainside, a tunnel entrance that had been concealed with mesquite poles and earth, now largely rotted away. After clearing the entrance, the Papago ventured inside with another torch. What he discovered was nothing short of extraordinary. About 100 feet into the tunnel, he found grinding stones, stacked against the wall, silent testimonies to the hard work of processing ore. Further in lay broken ore, old Spanish mining tools, and candlesticks of the type used by early Spanish miners. But the real treasure lay deeper within. In one of several large stopes, he found more broken ore and a Spanish shrine with a cross, a common sight in mines worked by Spanish and Mexican miners, who often sought divine protection in their dangerous underground work. However, it was what he discovered in a small cross-cut tunnel that would have made any prospector's heart stop. Piles of buckskin bags filled with gold nuggets, presumably recovered from placer operations elsewhere in the mountain. At the far end of this small tunnel, gold bars gleamed in the torchlight, their yellow surfaces unmarred by time. Some of the buckskin bags had deteriorated over time, spilling their golden contents onto the tunnel floor. The sight must have been breathtaking. Centuries of Spanish mining wealth, abandoned and forgotten, now revealed by chance to a lone hunter following a wounded deer. The old man explained that he had taken just one bag of the placer gold, believing the gods would not object to an elderly Indian taking such a small portion to feed his family. It was an act of remarkable restraint. Surrounded by immense wealth, he took only what he felt he needed. He buried this sack beneath the dirt floor of his house, and it was from this single bag that he had drawn all the gold he'd traded over the years. The merchant, excited by this revelation, couldn't wait to verify the tale. The old Native American gave him specific instructions. Climb the long ridge, and when evening comes, look for large silver-colored bats in the air. They would mark the location of the mine. It was a simple set of directions, but ones that would prove fatefully inadequate. The very next day, the merchant set out with his mozo, servant, their mules loaded with supplies for several days in the mountains. They arrived on the ridge by late afternoon, their animals tired from the steep climb. They spotted the bats circling overhead, just as the old man had described, and decided to wait until morning to begin their search, making camp under the stars. But as dawn broke, they received an unexpected visitor, the old Papago himself. He was clearly troubled, his usual calm demeanor replaced by visible anxiety. He explained that he deeply regretted sharing the secret of the mine, as it violated a sacred tribal law forbidding the disclosure of mine or treasure locations to outsiders. Fearing divine retribution, he had taken drastic action. "I waited until all the bats were back in the hole. Then I closed the entrance with rocks and earth," he told the merchant, his voice heavy with both regret and determination. "No more bats. They all will die in the hole, and no white man will ever find the mine." True to the old man's words, no vampire bats have been seen in the Baboquivari Mountains since that day. And despite countless searches over the years, no one has ever rediscovered the lost mine and treasure they once guarded. The silver-colored bats, if they ever existed, have become as legendary as the gold they once shared their home with. This tale, passed down through generations, joins the countless legends of lost mines in the American Southwest. But what sets it apart is its unique blend of elements: the mysterious vampire bats, the Spanish mining history, and the moral complexity of a man caught between helping others and respecting his tribal traditions. The Baboquivari Mountains still stand today, their rugged peaks holding who knows how many secrets. Somewhere among those slopes, behind a sealed entrance, perhaps there still lies a fortune in Spanish gold, guarded now only by the bones of those silver-colored bats who once called the mine their home. This has been Southwest Desert. Join us next time as we explore another mysterious tale from the American Southwest. Until then, keep exploring, and remember, every legend has its grain of truth. Please enjoy my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.